blue lights of law enforcement vehicles. There is a solid perimeter, it appears to me, from this place around these Capitol grounds now. Many law enforcement, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police from DC, police from Virginia, all descending on this area to set up this perimeter. Now, how they're going to get rid of those hundreds of people, they have definitely told them to clear out. We've seen no one come this way since 6 o'clock. No one walking down this way trying to clear out that area. And in fact, we've seen some people kind of heading into that area.
You got protesters trying to attack the White House over this new voting thing for the new senators to be sworn in.
And we heard from Mary Bruce that
and people trying to attack the Trump supporters are trying to attack the White House.
I think
That's attacking the White House.
The Capitol has been secured. They announced that the inside of the Capitol
This
has
is
been
all
secured.
Trump followers
Rioters
attacking
are out of
the White House.
Of the Capitol. I'm sure what they tried to do is go room to room before they would ever announce anything like the Capitol being cleared. The outside of the Capitol is definitely not cleared yet. I mean, we can still see a lot of those Trump supporters and those instigators as well still on the grounds. Those are the people who were remaining there after a lot of the protesters we saw had walked away, disappointed, by the way. They didn't really want to leave because they liked, they said, what had happened there today and that they had a perfect right to do that. But this is clearly the hour they're going to start trying to move those who remain. I think one part of the Capitol, and you've talked to Rachel Scott, obviously I haven't even seen her, she's so far away from me, but there's an area over on the other side that's cleared out. This side is definitely not cleared out yet. And I can't imagine they're just going to let these people leave. I mean, there is a curfew in the city. They're supposed to be inside. They're not supposed to be anywhere. So I don't know what they will do with those who remain, but I imagine there'll be numerous arrests here within the hour, George.
Trump supporters sitting up here fighting people at the White House, fighting the army, fighting security.
Now a new tweet just 2 minutes
They're up here wilding out.
where he talks about an election victory
Now they're getting mad over this curfew
stripped away from great patriots.
started at 6 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the morning.
George, I've covered President Trump for 4 years, and I'm speechless by this. I mean, as we are looking at these images of what Martha just described as an appalling sight unfolding in our nation's capital, you've got the president who is tweeting. He says these are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. He tells them, go home with love and in peace. And then he says, remember this day forever. Yes, history is going to remember this day forever. There was no election that was unceremoniously and viciously stripped from anyone. This was a free and fair election, and it's pathetic that we have to keep saying that over and over. And you can't have it both ways, as we've heard from
Trump is mad because
Republicans,
he
from
lost.
his allies, from people who are close
So now
to
he got
him,
all
who
his
have
followers
tried
for
to
Twitter,
get this message
Instagram,
to
and
the
Facebook
president
follow
that
him
he is the one
to Washington
who
and
started
fighting,
this, and he is the one
fighting all
who
the
could
police.
stop it if he went on television and he said
He
outright,
just mad 'cause he
leave
lost.
and go home peacefully. That is not what he has said. He has not
People, all
called
this is over the
on this
$2,000
to stop. And he
that they
doesn't
don't want
get
to
to
give
have
us.
it both ways here. And then you've got the flip, George. Listen to this absolutely stunning statement that I can't imagine I'm going to read from a former president of the United States, former President George W. Bush, who just released a statement that is worth reading in its entirety. He said, "This is how election results are disputed in a banana republic, not our democratic republic. I am appalled by the reckless behavior of some political leaders since the election and by the lack of respect shown today for our institutions, our traditions, and our law enforcement." And I think as we are in this evening and we are talking about what happens next there on the Capitol and whether they go forward with this vote to certify the election tonight, the Electoral College votes tonight, and we've got these questions for the 150 House members who said that they were going to object, and the 13 Republican senators who were going to object. Where were they before tonight? Where were they if they are going to change their vote, if they're no longer going to object, as we're starting to hear potentially this discussion that's happening behind closed doors right now? Do they get off
Because they
the
want to
hook
fight
for
and
what
attack
we're
the
seeing
White
here
House.
tonight?
Now you got a curfew starting tonight, all the way
planning
to
to
6 o'clock
object
next
in their
morning.
votes today, and we are here right now.
All because of Trump
Are they
followers.
at least partly to blame for what we are seeing in the Capitol as well?
Cecilia Vega, as you were talking, we also just got a new tweet from the president's national security advisor. Only 14 days to go in this presidency, but he is apparently broken with the president on this as well, saying, I spoke with Vice President Pence. He's a genuinely fine and decent man. He exhibited courage today as he did at the Capitol on 9/11 as a congressman. I am proud to serve with him. A break of sorts, of course, the vice president was doing his constitutional duty.
He was doing his constitutional duty. That's his job. The president had been pressuring him privately. The president had been pressuring him publicly. But is it too late? I mean, does Mike Pence, does Robert O'Brien, do they get credit for today saying that they did what the Constitution requires them to do, or that Robert O'Brien supports what the vice president did because that's what he is supposed to do? This is the oath of office that the vice president took when he took it 4 years ago. Do they get the credit now for not having spoken up? The president has been spreading these baseless conspiracy theories, these bald-faced lies about an election being stolen from him for 9 weeks now, and they're just not true. Court after court around our country has declared that there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud. I laugh at myself for having to continually say this for the last 9 weeks. It's just the facts. But the president has been spreading these lies, these mistruths, and his aides, including Mike Pence and Robert O'Brien and people in the highest echelons of this administration, have stood by his side, and they have not spoken up. And so I think that there are serious questions for them as to whether they are part of what we're seeing here today as well.
Cecilia Vega, thanks very much. Terry Moran, Jonathan Greenblatt was on the program.